What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked about anything YouTube drama related, but a lot of you have made it very clear that we should talk about this one. You've asked me to talk about it, and it's something I really want to talk about, so let's get into it. Recently, a YouTuber by the name of Grade A Under A made a video addressing all of the drama recently here on YouTube, and in that video he made a lot of claims and accusations, one of which I want to address. He even actually included a picture of me in the video and referred to YouTubers like me as cunts. And I should say, in fact, a lot of people have said Grade A's video goes too far with the personal attacks and things along that lines, the insults on people's appearance and that, but you know, that's just Grade A. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But ignoring all of that, he actually made claims about a YouTuber by the name of Matthew Santoro, claiming that he's a plagiarist who has plagiarized his content here on YouTube, and I thought it would be interesting to take a look at that. As always, I'll try to stay as objective as possible, but you should know that me and Matthew Santoro are on friendly terms. We've talked before, we'll probably talk again, and so you should know that in an effort for full disclosure. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Matthew Santoro, he is an YouTube infotainer who does informational lists in an entertaining way that teaches you about stuff, but also kind of makes you laugh and keeps you interested by making goofy jokes, using weird sound effects, and doing cool graphics and things along that lines. He is also wildly successful, enjoying a meteoric rise here on YouTube over the last year. He is one of the most subscribed channels and one of the most viewed channels on YouTube. This type of content is absurdly popular here on YouTube for a variety of different reasons. The first is that people love seeing things organized into lists. That's just part of the human brain. Secondly, people do enjoy learning. Thirdly, the YouTube algorithm really likes this kind of thing. People tend to watch a list video all the way through. They tend to watch several list videos at once, and that's going to put you really high up in the search rankings. And Matthew is one of the top producers of this type of content with one of the most viewed channels that makes this type of content, and there's a lot of different reasons why. It can be argued that Matthew's videos are very popular because of his unique personality and who he is, that his content is very personality driven, that he has several writers that work under him to create very good content, that it's edited well, it's put together well, and overall, his work is what makes him popular. But it can also be argued that the reason Matthew Santoro is so popular is because of the lists and the content and the information that's inside of his videos. Well, unfortunately for Matthew Santoro, YouTuber Grade A Under A has made the claim that Matthew Santoro has actually plagiarized that content before. He actually provides evidence saying that Matthew Santoro and his writers don't actually write all of his content. In his video, Grade A gives an example of a Listverse article and shows it exactly as it appears on the Listverse website, then shows Matthew Santoro's list as it appears in the video, and they appear to be pretty much identical. On top of that, several other people have created YouTube videos since then showing other types of inconsistencies and issues with Matthew's content where it possibly could be plagiarized, and it's been a pretty frustrating 24 hours for him, causing him to lose quite a number of subscribers on his channel. Even more damaging than that, though, was a comment by the guys over at Listverse who said this kind of thing happens to them all the time. They spend a lot of money paying people to research this stuff and put together these lists that they publish on their website, and then YouTubers come along and basically copy and paste them, put them into their videos, and make money off of it. Well, I've been reading all day people talking about this different topic, and there's pretty much two stances on it. Some people feel that any YouTuber that uses a list like this to create their type of content is plagiarizing, while other people feel that it might fall under fair use and could actually be transformative in nature, and that would lead to that being okay. So I thought it would be kind of fun if we took a look at fair use here and see if that could possibly apply here. The first rule of fair use will look at this and determine whether or not it's for nonprofit educational use or whether or not it's being used for commercial purposes. The majority of list-type videos on YouTube are being made by YouTubers or businesses who are trying to profit from it, so for the most part, this is not going to work for a nonprofit. These are definitely for profit. Secondly, we take a look at the nature of the copyrighted work. The way this is going to apply here is if you're getting your list, say, from an educational source or Wikipedia or something along that lines, an informational piece, it's probably going to fly. But in the case of Listverse, who creates their lists by themselves, for themselves, not for educational purposes, but entertainment purposes, then you've got to be a little more careful. Furthermore, if the original piece of information is informational and factual, say the top 10 selling gaming consoles in the United States, that would be absolutely okay to list, because no matter who writes it or who creates that list, it's always going to come out exactly the same because it's factual. If it's opinionated, like 7 people who got famously weird for weird reasons, that definitely could be protected by copyright. Thirdly, fair use is going to take a look at the amount of the original copyrighted work that you use. Basically, this means if you're only copying a small portion of something, it's probably okay. A few seconds of a movie clip, a few seconds of a song, that's generally going to be all right. But in these cases of these list videos, for the most part, these YouTubers borrow the entire list and sometimes don't even rearrange the order. And that is something that would most likely be protected by copyright. Then finally, fair use will look at the market value of the original work and how your new piece that cites it will affect that. Now, this can be kind of a gray area when it comes to these list videos, because if you copy the entire list and give all of the information that's there word for word, or getting the meat of it and putting that in the video, chances are that will devalue the original list. But if the original list goes into a lot more detail and you cite it and link to it in the description box, there's a chance a good number of your viewers will want to see the original list, or see the last half of the list, or see the other examples that are given there. And so this could be a case-by-case scenario. However, if the YouTuber does not link to the original source of the content and does not cite it, this would absolutely destroy market value altogether, and that's why it's so important to cite your sources when you can. Now, rule number 1 actually goes into a little more detail, focusing on whether or not the new content is transformative in nature. If you've managed to take that original list in its original form and made it something completely different and made it your own. It could be argued that if you took another list created by a website or created by another YouTuber and then recorded your own video and audio, writing your own commentary and your own jokes and your own unique stuff, in a court of law, it could be found to be transformative and perfectly legal. However, a lot of people feel that it's a very shady thing to do. And many people have drawn a parallel to the world of stand-up comics. And in stand-up comedy, or in comedy in general, if you steal somebody else's joke, you can be run out of the club or made fun of or run out of the business altogether. So obviously here on YouTube, I think other YouTubers are beginning to feel that stealing other people's content is definitely not something we want to be doing. Now, with all of that said, let me offer my own opinion. The first thing I want to say is I'm surprised that anybody out there is surprised to find out that list YouTubers are just basically reading Wikipedia to you. This is pretty much what they do. I mean, some of them do their own research, some of them hire their own writers. I know that Matthew Santoro does that for a good number of his videos, but for the most part, if people are creating these lists, there's not a lot of people writing them. They're using informational and educational material to create these lists, and even if they organize the list in their own direction or come up with the idea for the list, I mean, basically they're reading information for you that's available out there for you to find yourself. Secondly, I am in awe, and I'm just shocked by how many people are severely vicious about this topic. There are many viewers out there who are not making room for things like a parallel thinking or being inspired by another YouTuber or another content creator. They have a zero tolerance policy. If you talk about the same thing that somebody else has talked about, people will come down on you right now and say, no, that belongs to somebody else. You can't even talk about that topic. That's not what this particular drama or this particular piece of news is about. This particular piece of news is really about citing your sources and how important that is. And I know going forward, when I refer to news in the future, or I take a screen cap from a news article and put it on the screen, I'm going to try to do a better job of making sure to cite my sources. I think for these listing YouTubers, that is absolutely something they should have always been doing, something they should always do going forward. And in fact, just as I was making this video, I checked Matthew Santoro's Twitter, and he has confirmed that not only will he be doing that going forward, he will actually be doing it retroactively for every video he's ever created. Secondly, this is about stealing other people's content. And I'm not talking about the same ideas or the same theories or doing challenges or things along that lines. I'm talking about stealing people's jokes verbatim, stealing their ideas verbatim, stealing their lists or their scripts, or even re-uploading their videos and doing reaction style videos. That's what we're talking about here. And that stuff, I think we all agree, has no place here on YouTube. I'll be honest, I think a lot of what these infotainment YouTubers are doing, including Matthew Santoro, probably falls within the realm of fair use. but I don't think it falls within the realm of fair play. They're not playing fair. Citing their sources is a good step in the right direction of doing that, and I hope that's what they all do going forward. But again, that's just one man's opinion. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments section below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you very much. I'll speak with you again soon.